We're almost a full week into the new year, and some of you chose to stick to resolutions. Some common practices this year and how they're holding up. And we're closing in on Monday's national championship between SEC rivals. We'll hear from former players of both Georgia and Alabama to get their thoughts on the big title game.
And we're finally going to get a break from the cold as a West Coast storm system will bring rain and milder temperatures to the valley. When can we expect those changes? I'll explain coming up in your First Alert forecast. The news starts now.
On your side, this is News 3 Nightwatch.
Good evening, everyone. We thank you for trusting News 3. I'm Phil Scoggins. My co-anchor Teresa Whitaker has the night off. A crime of unusual circumstance has social media attention. Today, 8 people, one as young as 12 years old, were arrested on charges of burglary and theft. Police received a call about a break-in at the Car Mart on Columbus Parkway in Opelika shortly after 2 this morning. Police say they arrived on the scene, came in contact with the suspects, and that's when the teens took off, but they were caught after a chase. Police charged the minors and 19-year-old Raheem McClam of Columbus with burglary, theft, attempting to elude officers, as well as bringing stolen property into Alabama. Arson is suspected to be the cause of the fire that has left one accuser of former Senate candidate Roy Moore homeless. Members of the Etowah County Arson Task Force say the fire destroyed Tina Johnson's home on Tuesday, and they have a person of interest in custody. Johnson is one of several women accusing the former Senate candidate of inappropriate sexual behavior in the past. Today, Johnson says no one was injured in the blaze, but her family got out with just the clothes on their backs.
It's too coincidental to me. I'm just so devastated that I can't, I'm devastated.
Officials say that the fire does not appear to be related to her allegations against Moore. Tonight, dozens turned out for the 43rd NAACP Freedom Fund banquet that was held at the Columbus Trade Center. For those not aware, the local chapter does collect funds for the services they provide, as they are a nonprofit. The president, Tanza Thomas, says members are thankful for the donations they collect from this annual Freedom Fund banquet. Thomas says the organization has come far, but there's more work to be done.
Most people get it misconstrued by thinking that we're just an African-American organization, but we're not. We help the poor, we help the homeless, we help everyone. So our goal for 2018 is to make sure that we keep our children in school, we keep them educated with a free, quality public education, and we eliminate criminal behavior.
Thomas adds she is confident tonight's fundraiser will help the chapter carry out its mission. We're just a full week into the new year, and many of you have chosen to stick to some New Year's resolutions. Well, News 3's Ashley Garrett went into the community tonight. She caught up with a few folks in the valley, and she's joining us now with a story you'll see only on News 3.
Phil, what you see behind me coming up here is a look at how full the parking lot at the Milton Road Planet Fitness got to be this afternoon. I got a chance to catch up with a few locals who mentioned that fitness was high on their list of New Year resolutions, but that wasn't all.
I'm trying to go into the reserves, actually, for Air Force. So I've been dropping weight in the past year, but I was, wanted to kick the year off with going consistently every day.
Marcus Johnson isn't the only one in Columbus looking to get fit as part of his New Year resolution. Friday afternoon, he joined this parking lot of people at the Milton Road Planet Fitness. Johnson says he's got a specific weight loss goal in mind.
I want to get down to about 195. I started off at 245, and right now I'm 210, so I've been doing good, but I'm trying to hurry up and get to that goal so I can go ahead and go to basic.
Johnson says he's working to lose 2 pounds a week. So far, he's lost 1.5 pounds. Jeremy Barrett, also in Columbus, says he's looking to stay on top of his 2017 New Year resolution. He's also got health on the brain.
Trying to get a little bit more physically fit, and I've continued that this year. And I keep going to the gym, and I've started out with a gym. I began in America, so I transferred a job here to Columbus, so I started with Planet Fitness and kept it up.
Solutions, but that wasn't all.
Also, my fiance and I are working towards buying a home, so we're working on trying to pay off our bills this year, get our credit scores up, and be able to hopefully be in a home by the end of the year.
Alexander says she knows how tough sticking to New Year resolutions can be. She has advice for those who may feel like giving up.
We're like accountability partners to where you're helping each other to meet your goals. If you feel like, oh, I can't do this, reach out to someone and have them be like, no, you can't.
Some good advice there, and most everyone I talked to today appeared to be very optimistic about their goals. And on behalf of the folks here at News 3, we'd like to wish you all the very best of luck. Phil.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Well, bundle up. That's going to be what you're going to need to do once again in the morning. Meteorologist Cody Nickel in the Weather Center with our first look at the forecast. He is in for Bob tonight.
That's right, Phil. Most of the eastern portion of the United States is still feeling that cold Arctic blast with temperatures in the teens across parts of Kentucky, even back up into Chicago where we have single digits. But here closer to home, we are just right at freezing. And right now we are rain-free as that nor'easter has made its way up into Canada. Still have that cold behind it though, but we are focusing on this system out to our west around Oregon and Washington. This is going to be Monday's storm system that is going to increase those rain chances and also bring some warmer weather here to the valley. But right now temperatures across the valley a little cooler out there in the rural regions of our viewing area. 29 down in Eufaula, LaGrange at 24, so rather chilly up across Troup County, and that's going to be the case as we continue to go into the overnight hours. Temperatures will be once again cold, temperatures in the 20s. Some areas could be in the lower 20s as we get to the daybreak on Saturday, Phil. But for tomorrow, going to be a little warmer, still going to be cold, but I'll have more on what we can expect from those rain chances on Monday.
All right, thanks so much, Cody. Tonight we wanted to bring you some local expert perspective on Monday night's huge national championship game between Georgia and Alabama. This week I sat down with two members of Georgia's national championship team from 1980, DJ Jones and Dale Williams. I also gleaned some insight from Phoenix City Mayor and former Alabama linebacker Eddie Lowe. Georgia hasn't celebrated a national championship in football since 1980, Herschel Walker's freshman year. So to say Georgia fans are starved for another national title is an understatement. Former Carver standout DJ Jones played on the Bulldogs national championship team, as did former Hardaway star Dale Williams. I want to go back to 1980, the national championship game, New Orleans Superdome. What stands out in each of your minds as being the special moments of that national championship? DJ?
Well, first of all, you know, the brotherhood, the team. You know, you're hearing that a lot now with the teams and all, but again, you really, we had a real sense of family back then. You know what? We weren't the biggest team, we weren't the fastest team, but we were a very disciplined team.
You know, my biggest memory of the whole thing started in the summer, because we got worked very hard that summer. We had a great freshman class to come in that DJ and Herschel were a part of, but when you look back on it, that summer we got worked very hard. We were working for something that we didn't see right then.
Phoenix City Mayor Eddie Lowe was a linebacker for the Alabama Crimson Tide back in the early 80s. He played for the legendary Paul Bear Bryant, and Lowe recalls how Coach Bryant would start fall practice.
Listen, guys, we're going to win the SEC. Now, you don't know what type of injuries you would have. You don't know the adversities you would have. But he started from day one when everybody reported planting that seed. Looking ahead to Monday night's showdown, how do our local experts see the game playing out?
Some big plays are going to have to happen in the special team game, because I don't think just there's going to be as many explosive plays that went on in the Oklahoma game that's going to happen in the Alabama game.
I think somewhat similar, but at the same time, the physicality of the guys up front. You know, that's where the game's going to be won. But I think the key will be our freshman quarterback going up top, because I think they're going to load the box and they're going to force him to beat us.
I think in this game it's going to come down to the team that can run the ball the best, and it's going to be a defensive game, and I think it's going to be the best game all year because of that style of football.
So there you have it from some local experts about the big game coming up on Monday night. Now, tonight we wanted to also remind you that one local company is offering some services to fans that are heading to the big game Monday in Atlanta, and they are also reaping the rewards. Uptown Valet is taking a group of Georgia fans to Atlanta for the national championship between the Dogs and Crimson Tide. The company started in August of 2015. They added a van service for large groups back in the fall, which was just after Matt Daniels took over as the company's manager.
we saw that there wasn't really any kind of business that did this in Columbus. As soon as we get calls, we'll book up as many vans as we need. Really, we're flexible, even just any kind of trip to where people see the need to take a big group of people to come back and forth to Columbus safely. We'll do it for you.
And it's not the first time Uptown Valet has handled a large group. Daniels told us that the company took several vans to the first Georgia-Auburn game, as well as 2 vans to the Iron Bowl and 1 van to the SEC Championship. Still to come here on the Night Watch, take a look at the book that is trending on social media. Is it worth the read or even credible? Find out in 1 minute. A new book critical of President Trump has gone on sale despite threats of a lawsuit. And the book's author is defending his work despite White House attacks against its credibility. Mola Linghi has more details now from the White House.
The author of an explosive new book about the Trump White House is standing by his work.
I have recordings, I have notes. I am certainly absolutely in every way comfortable with everything I've reported in this book.
But President Trump, BBC's Today Show, the president is wrong.
I absolutely spoke to the president. Whether he realized it was an interview or not, I don't know, but it certainly was not off the record.
President Trump tried to stop the release of the book and had his lawyers send cease and desist letters to Wolf and the book's publisher threatening legal action.
Regardless of whether or not there's a lawsuit, they should be concerned about peddling fake stories. They should be concerned about putting out information that's not true.
In response, the publisher moved the book's release date from next week to today, citing unprecedented demand.
Not only is he helping me sell books, but he's helping me prove the point of the book. I mean, this is extraordinary that a president of the United States would try to stop the publication of a book.
Fire and Fury is already at #1 on Amazon's bestsellers list. Mola Linghi, CBS News, the White House.
We're talking about cold weather and have been for a while, but there's hope just a few days away, right?
There is. If we can get through the weekend and maybe a couple of rain showers, we are actually going to be warmer and we're going to be near average, and we could be talking 60s maybe by next Friday. But today was another cold one. We started out at 22 degrees, only warmed up to 45. Much of the same for your Saturday, but I'll have more on those rain chances coming up after the break.
3 brings you your First Alert forecast.
Welcome back. First Alert meteorologist Cody Nickel in for Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald tonight. Now, current temperatures across the southeast are rather cold. 26 in the city of Birmingham, 24 in Nashville, and Louisville at 11. So the cooler air is still up towards the north, but that storm has gotten out to sea and up into Canada. But we are still left with some very cold temperatures across the southeast. 32 here in the city of Columbus, and we take you out to the Phoenix City Amphitheater Skycam, and it is quite dry out there. Dew point only at 9 degrees, but we still have that north-northeast wind at about 5, maybe 10 miles per hour, but it should start to go calm as we get into the overnight hours. So no wind chill we should have to deal with tonight, but it's still going to be rather cold. Temperatures dropping into the 20s and even low 20s as we get to the morning hours. But 24 right now in LaGrange, all clear across the board. We could have a few passing clouds out across the region, but for the most part we should be clear across the region, and that is seen by our satellite and radar. You can see just some slight cloud cover here, but nothing to worry about. But we are going to be watching this system right here in Portland, Seattle. This is going to be Monday's storm system that is going to bring those chances of rain and just a little more warmth as this system starts to move off towards the east. So that storm track is going to bring it across the Central Plains as we get into the weekend. So the weekend is relatively good. We don't have any rain chances. We're still going to be rather cold on Saturday, and then we'll start to get that increase in cloud cover for your Sunday. But here, look at Monday morning at 4:30. We could be talking about some sleet for mainly areas of LaGrange northward as we have a wedge of cool air overrunning parts of this rain right here, and it should fall as some frozen precipitation. But 5:30, we should just have some light rain showers for the city of Columbus, so no travel issues with that. Slight chance of mixing up across Atlanta. But as we get into parts of Monday is when we have those rain chances. But everybody's talking about Monday, the national championship game. The forecast for tailgating through the weekend should be sunny and cool until we get to Monday, where we do have those chances for some sleet in the AM, but primarily will be rain across the area. But temperature trend, it is going to be going on trend upward rather. 55 by Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday we are right back to average. So in the overnight, going to be mostly clear and cold, going with a low of 23 degrees here. Winds will be calm as we get to the daybreak hours, so once again no wind chill, but 45 degrees. Going to be sunny and cold in the morning and pleasant and cool in the afternoon. So here's that 7-day forecast. 48 for Sunday. The cloudy and rainy conditions approach our area on your Monday with temperatures at 55 degrees, but a few sprinkles could be possible in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, as this pattern is very zonal and not much changing, where we could just have a brief shower, nothing to worry about. But another front comes in on Friday, and we're talking about temperatures up around 62 from a week from now. But right now we just got to get these few days where temperatures will be in the 20s out of the area, and then we'll be talking about those rain chances on Monday, Phil.
All right, thank you so much, Cody. Looking forward to those warmer temperatures for sure.
I am too.
Meanwhile, though, while it may be cold here in the valley, the weather isn't nearly as bad as what's happening up north. Coming up in 2 minutes, a look at the winter storm that has the Northeast in a deep freeze.
Across America with mega jackpots, it's Mega Millions.
What's up, America? I'm John Crow. It's Friday, January 5th, and tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is an estimated annuitized $450 million. To win that jackpot, you must match these 5 white balls plus that gold mega ball. Now, let's see if I can make you a millionaire tonight. Our first winning number tonight is 70. That's followed by 59. Up next, we have 30. Your next number is 28, and your final white ball for this Friday evening is 39. Now for the Mega Ball. Tonight's Mega Ball number is 10. Again, tonight's winning numbers are 70, 59, 30, 28, 39, and the gold Mega Ball is 10. Now, if no one matches all 6 numbers, Tuesday's jackpot could be $560 million. Good luck and play on, America.
Winter Storm Grayson has finally moved on out, but record-breaking cold air is expected to stick around throughout the weekend. Wind chill advisories are up from the Midwest all the way to the East Coast and as far south as the Carolinas. Kenneth Craig has more now from Boston.
On days like this one, it's tough just getting around Boston.
It feels like nails kind of just going at your skin when you're walking into it.
It's challenging. You have to watch where you're stepping.
Bostonians kept their heads down and did their best to dig out and dry out. The combination of winds, high tide, and a supermoon produced the highest tide this coastal area has ever seen. Strong winds sent waves bursting through a seawall in Scituate.
I think it has to do with the global warming, obviously.
In Boston, water from the harbor submerged this entire area. Crews have been working around the clock to try to clear these streets so this doesn't all turn to solid ice. In Michigan, the Detroit River has frozen over, and the Windy City lived up to its nickname.
Really, really cold. Just like ice.
It's colder in Cleveland than Greenland, colder in Minneapolis than Murmansk, and in North Dakota, it's -1. In Florida, manatees are huddled together in canals in an effort to stay warm. And several hundred sea turtles are being rehabilitated after becoming disoriented in the chilly water. The coldest temperatures may be felt Sunday morning from Portland, Maine to the nation's capital, where it's not expected to warm up until next week. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Boston.
Sports Director Brendan Robertson joining me now as we continue our countdown to the national championship. Both Alabama and Georgia making their way to Atlanta today.
Good thing they didn't play in like Michigan for this game. Yeah, planes, trains, automobiles, different routes for the teams coming up. We'll show you their arrivals, how they got to Atlanta, and we'll hear from the players who have to put their semifinal wins in the rear-view mirror and focus ahead on the task at hand.
Time for News 3 Sports.
There they are, the title contenders, half of them anyway, for the national championship, arriving in Atlanta ahead of Monday's showdown for the top prize in college football. Crimson Tide getting into Atlanta on that chartered Delta flight about 7:30 Eastern. You saw Nick Saban dressed for the business trip. The Marriott Marquis hosting the Alabama Crimson Tide. Georgia fans weren't going to be outdone. They were waiting outside as the 7 Georgia buses pulled up in front of the Hyatt Hotel right next to the Marriott Marquis about 7 p.m. There's Jake Fromm. You saw Terry Godwin as well, a little high school marching band. Here's a look at how the teams got there. Alabama, even though it was a 3-hour bus ride. You saw them take that chartered plane from Tuscaloosa into Atlanta, 202 miles. Look at that little plane. About an hour and 10-minute flight. The Georgia Bulldogs, a much shorter trip, but the Dogs busing in from Athens, 7 buses, 72 miles, about an hour and 15-minute drive. But after Media Day tomorrow, when Georgia speaks first at 9 a.m., at 10 a.m. they're going to get back on those buses and go back to Athens to practice at their own facility for their final practice. Then they'll get back on the buses and head back to Atlanta Saturday night. Alabama going to stay put in Atlanta. As for what really matters, it's the game itself. Both teams having a quick turnaround from their semifinal wins in the college football playoff. Just 7 days to get ready compared to a 9-day break last year. They were both emotional wins. Georgia being pushed into overtime. Alabama exacting revenge on Clemson from a year ago. But the players say getting everything back focused on what lies ahead won't be a problem.
I don't think it's that hard, just because of the fact of the way we felt all for the past year, because we lost the national championship, and that fueled us for an entire year. But we can't get caught up on that, because if we're not focused on this game and we lose this game, then it's gonna be the same thing all over again. So I think that if anything, we can kind of look at that and be like, okay, so we kind of got that game back that we wanted, but we want to keep that same feeling from happening again for the next year.
We'll be live in Atlanta tomorrow. Alabama still favored by 3.5 points, according to Vegas. The Atlanta Falcons are the only team from the NFC to be back in the playoffs this season for the second year in a row. Don't have to look far for motivation when you consider how last season ended. We won't get into the details, but the Falcons, a year wiser, they take on the league's youngest team, the 3-seeded Los Angeles Rams, and that guy from Georgia, Todd Gurley. Stopping him going to be key to any success that the Falcons will have on Saturday.
He's a great back. He's fast. He can run you over. He's aggressive. But
that's what they'll do. It's Gurley, touchdown.
And Atlanta is the Saturday night game on NBC. Kickoff slated for 8.5 or 8:30. Atlanta 6.5 point underdogs. We'll be right back after this.
All right, Cody, take us home.
All right, it's going to be a cold one again tonight, low of 23, mostly clear and cold out there for tomorrow. Going to be much like it was today, temperatures in the middle 40s, more clouds as we can get through the weekend on Sunday, and then that chance of rain comes in the forecast on Monday. But look at that, warming temperatures each and every day, and then by next Friday, we could be talking about more rain chances and temperatures near 62, but cold in the meantime. I think we can manage. We've done a week so far. What's 2 more days?
I'm looking ahead at that 48 for a low going into Friday morning next week. That looks awfully nice.
Oh, yes.
All right, thank you, Cody.
You're welcome.
That's going to do it for News 3 Night Watch. Thanking you for making us your choice for local news. We hope you have a great weekend, everyone, today.